You know, Prince Andrew denies the allegations against him, and he says that this photo is a fake, that he was never there, and that he's not his arm, and they're not his fingers.
Oh, the chubby fingers. I know. I mean, these are the lame excuses that he keeps coming up with. I mean, these aren't his fingers, really.
Here's a clean, polished rewrite with a more narrative, documentary-style flow while keeping the same meaning and tone. He has kept an unusually low profile for months, and what we are seeing no longer looks like a strategic withdrawal. It feels more like a slow unraveling. Since the renewed attention around Jeffrey Epstein and as Virginia Giuffre's story continues to dominate headlines following her posthumous memoir, Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor has been pushed further out of public view. Public appearances have dwindled, loyal allies have fallen silent, and any realistic path to rehabilitation appears increasingly out of reach. What stands out in the latest reports is not a legal twist or an official palace statement, but a glimpse into how Andrew now spends his days behind the gates of Royal Lodge. According to an insider quoted this week, he has retreated into a routine he has always favored and now leans on more than ever. Much of his time is spent on the couch, watching television. The source describes him as a longtime couch potato, someone who has always watched a great deal of TV. That detail carries unexpected weight. It reframes the story from one of royal scandal to something far more subdued and bleak, a man isolated inside a 30-room house, increasingly disconnected from the world, filling his days in front of a screen. It also aligns with other accounts of his current routine. He occasionally rides, shoots, or plays golf, and he watches television. He does not drink or smoke. He no longer goes out to dinner, and the London club scene is firmly behind him. His world has shrunk into a narrow, repetitive cycle, with Royal Lodge at its center. What makes this image so telling is what it quietly implies. There is no evidence of reinvention, no clearly defined charitable mission, no behind-the-scenes role, and no signs of a structured life supported by a strong inner circle. Instead, the same conclusion keeps surfacing in coverage after coverage. People simply are not coming around anymore. Breaking tonight,
Prince Andrew is giving up all of his titles, including the Duke of York. It follows a string of scandals surrounding his relationship with paedophile Jeffrey Epstein and his relationship with an alleged Chinese spy. But, of course, he will remain a prince, as this remains his birth.
Here is a refined rewrite that tightens the language, deepens the tone, and keeps the narrative flowing smoothly. One biographer quoted in the recent reporting goes further, saying that no one visits him anymore and describing Andrew as both abandoned and embittered. You do not have to accept every word as definitive to recognize the larger pattern taking shape. Across multiple accounts, the message is consistent. Andrew is no longer moving through the world. He is turned inward, living inside a small and steadily shrinking bubble that seems to close in on him with each passing month. Royal Lodge, of course, is not just any residence. It has been his home since 2003, a 30-room estate in Windsor that has served as the backdrop for decades of private routines, staff, habits, and a strong sense of control. That sense of control now appears to be slipping. Reports suggest he is entering his final weeks there, ahead of an expected move next year. When he wants to be outside without encountering anyone, he rides. We have seen him photographed doing exactly that, even in heavy rain, head lowered, expression downcast, accompanied only by a groom. What caught attention was not just the imagery, but the timing. After months of avoiding cameras, he was photographed riding twice in the space of 3 days. After that, the pattern repeats. He returns home. Perhaps there is a round of golf or some shooting, depending on what has been arranged. And then it is back inside again, settling into Royal Lodge once more, followed by long, uninterrupted hours of television.
Giuffre, the woman who accused Jeffrey Epstein and Prince Andrew of crimes, has died, aged 41. Her family has issued a statement confirming she died by suicide at her farm near Perth overnight.
Here is a tightened, more atmospheric rewrite that leans into subtext and mood while keeping the meaning intact. A sofa, glowing screens, and the same familiar room, locked into the same familiar routine, only now with the constant undertone that it is all drawing to a close. Andrew is a man who clings to ritual and control, even when that instinct appears strange to outsiders. So when reports suggest he is expected to move largely against his wishes, it is not simply a matter of downsizing. It means being forced out of the one environment where he could live entirely on his own terms, out of sight, surrounded by the remnants of royal life. Seen in that light, the couch potato label feels less like a casual insult and more like a quiet clue to his state of mind. He is not shaping a new future. He is waiting out the present. Those who have worked in and around Royal Lodge have long described Andrew as rigid in his habits and deeply unsettled when things were not done exactly his way. Again and again, accounts point to an intense need to control his surroundings, his routines, and even the smallest details of daily life. One anecdote frequently cited in reporting captures this perfectly. According to sources, Andrew once summoned a staff member simply to demonstrate how to use the television remote control, rather than adjusting it himself or learning it anew. It sounds trivial, but to former staff, it said everything.
This is what we do know about Prince Andrew and the businessman and convicted child sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. We know Prince Andrew got to know Jeffrey Epstein in 1999. We know that he saw him fairly regularly for some.
Here is a refined rewrite that sharpens the analysis and deepens the emotional undercurrent while preserving the original intent. A dependence on others for even minor tasks, an expectation of immediate assistance, and a reluctance to adapt when anything strayed from his preferred routine. Seen through that lens, the image of Andrew spending long hours in front of the television is not about idleness or passing time. It reflects a long-established pattern of control, reliance, and an unwillingness to bend as the world around him continues to change. There have been only a handful of rare public appearances, and even those have carried a sense of strain. He attended the christening of his granddaughter at St. James's Palace, reportedly arriving discreetly, tucked away in the back of a car. Then came the detail that spoke volumes. He did not join Princess Beatrice, her husband, and friends at the pub afterward. Some will interpret that as a sensible choice, keeping a low profile, avoiding cameras and headlines. But it also underscores how isolated he has become, even from the most ordinary moments of family life. The pub visit after a christening is the part that has nothing to do with titles or protocol. It is simply family, a shared meal, a drink, a bit of warmth. And he was not part of it.
New fallout overseas just days after Prince Andrew announced he'll stop using his royal titles.
Now he faces new allegations and investigations related to Jeffrey Epstein and Virginia Giuffre.
It all comes just one day before Giuffre's memoir detailing her time with Andrew is set to be released. Here's ABC's Ian Pam.
Which brings us back to the question hanging over all of this. If he is not welcome at major public events and he is not taking part in the smaller private moments either, then what remains? If the reporting is accurate, what remains is Royal Lodge, a horseback ride in the rain, and long hours of television. And the timing matters, because the move is expected to happen next year. Royal Lodge is the final place where Andrew can pretend his old life is still intact. Once he leaves, the narrative shifts. It becomes harder to conceal, harder to shape, and harder to deny that this situation is permanent. So let me ask you this. Do you think the couch potato portrayal is fair, the simplest way to describe what his life has become? Or do you think it is being pushed by the press to humiliate him at the exact moment he is being forced out of Royal Lodge? Or perhaps to stir sympathy? And if this truly is his daily reality now, do you think he accepts it quietly? Or do you think he still tries to push for some kind of comeback, even in a small and tightly controlled way? Share your thoughts in the comments. And if you want the next updates as the Royal Lodge story moves closer to its conclusion, make sure to subscribe. Thanks for watching.